Hi everyone, welcome back to Playing Up the Dusty M with me, Matt Stead. Now, if you've watched all the videos and you've made it through to this one, well done! You've made it through the entire course and you should be able to play chords up and down the neck now. You should be able to solo and start to play some melody as well. Now, don't worry if it's taking a while for those to settle in. The most important thing is what we're going to talk about today, and that's the practice and how to put these to best use. Now, we haven't covered all the chords types and all the scales, but as I mentioned in the last video, that's just too much and the videos would go on forever and ever. But you should really have a kind of an idea of how to take chords and turn them into movable chords. And you can do that with any chord type, and similarly with the scales as well. What I want to concentrate on today is one of the most important things in regards to everything we've learned on this course, and it's practice. And it's the most important thing. When I first started to learn these chords and taking them up and down the neck, it was kind of overwhelming. There's so many different chord types and different shapes to remember. But the important thing is just to take a few of the most common at a time, put them into use and start to put them into your repertoire. And also notice how so many pitches of chords are closely related. For instance, if you can play the C chord here at the 3rd fret, you don't have to remember all the others, because you know if you move it back one you have a B, and if you move it the other way you have a C sharp. So just starting to get the principles can just open your mind into so many things. In terms of melodies, I would say the best way to practice them are to learn the scales first off, going up and down. Sometimes it's really nice to break them up a bit as well. So rather than just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, try 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, and break them up a bit. Get your fingers used to finding those notes. And as I mentioned in the scale videos, as you practice them, it's really important to say the notes out loud as well. So you're not just learning shapes, you're really thinking about the notes involved. What I'd like to concentrate on just now is how to put some of these chord shapes into practice. My favourite way is to take some really common chord progressions, and if you're not sure which ones to use, check out my Uke Theory videos, which have a lot of these laid out. Some of the most common being 2-5-1, 1-4-5, 1-6-2-5, or in this case we have a 1-6-4-5 chord combination. All that means is if we write out the notes of a key, the chords correlate to those notes. So we have 1 for C, A is 6, F is 4, G is 5. So we call that a 1-6-4-5 combination. Then take the shapes that we've learned so far and see which ones will work with the area of the fretboard you want to work in. So make a decision. Am I going to try and play chords roughly in the first few positions? Am I going to take them right up the neck up here past the maybe 6th, 7th and 8th frets? I'd suggest starting around the 3rd, 4th and 5th fret area. Get used to the chord shapes that work well there. Come up with a combination of chords that are going to work and see if you can work out which shapes will work. You can literally cycle through them. So for instance, if I want to play a C chord roughly in this part of the neck, cycle through potential chord shapes. So we looked at an F chord shape. Would that work? F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp. No, because we're already in this part of the fretboard. By the time we get to C, we're up here. So cycle through another one, an A shape, A sharp, B, C. Aha, that one works perfectly, so we'll use that one. And I want you to make the same decisions yourself. So for instance, we could play these chords. We could play a C barred at the 3rd, 4th and 5th frets. We could play an A minor using this kind of G7 shape on the top 3 strings and little finger at the 7th. That'll give you a nice A minor movable. We could play an F chord up here, barring the 5th fret and putting our little finger on the 8th fret of the A string. And we could play a G7 using a movable E7 chord that we take up to the 3rd, 4th and 5th frets. If you put those together, you have a C, A minor, an F and a G7. how long you play those chords for is totally up to you. That's the brilliant thing about practice. You set the parameters, you decide. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. Now, a really good thing to do is take that chord progression and take it to a different key, because you have to think, I'm going to have to use different shapes, and you have to think about different shapes that you can use. It really challenges your understanding of this stuff. So what I've done here is I'm going to play exactly the same progression in the key of G. Now you can always look up different major keys if you're not sure, but I've written out the G major key here. It's all the notes. It has 1 sharp and F sharp in. And I'm going to play that 1, 6, 4, 5 progression. So 1 this time won't be C, it will be G. 6 this time won't be A, it will be E or E minor, because that's what we're playing. 4 will no longer be F, it will be C. And 5 will no longer be G, it will be D, and we'll play that as a D7. Now you notice this kind of forces you to work with other shapes, because if we take this C shape here, and we want to use that shape to play a G, we're going to go way too high up the fretboard. Look, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, way up there, really uncomfortable, not in this part of the fretboard at all. So we need to try our other movable shapes to see which one works. Now, this F movable shape didn't work for C, but it will work for G. Look, F, F sharp, G. Gives us a movable chord, not too high, not too low. Okay. We want to play an E minor. We can't use this A minor shape because we'll be too high again. Look, A sharp, B. We're already way off, aren't we? But we could use a movable D minor shape. There it is. Remember, you've got to keep this index finger free. There's a D minor, D sharp minor, E minor. So there's a movable chord we can use for that. The F shape won't work. This shape won't work for this C chord, right, if we want to take it up the fretboard, because if we're starting with F, we'll be way up here for C. And we could use that shape, because if we bring it back, F, E, D sharp, D, C sharp, C, but we've fallen back to a normal open chord, so it's a bit pointless. But we could use another shape, an A shape, A, B flat, B, C. There we go. And the same thing happens here. Again, the G7 shape won't work because it'll be too high, so we use an A7 shape. Let's play it here. Let's play the D. You could also play a D7 using that shape, but it's not gone up very high. So again, lots of different options. It's all about experimentation. So if I want to play this through now, I have a G here, E minor here, C here, and a D7 here. So we could try that in a different key. We could try it in the key of F and see what shapes work. A brilliant way of practicing these things. For the more complex chords, like the major sevenths and the dominant sevenths and the minor sevenths, and then the ninths and things like that follow on from it, use some jazz progressions. And again, if you're not sure about jazz progressions, look back at that Autumn Leaves video we did midway through the playlist, or look back at my Uke Theory playlist, which has some common jazz progressions that you can look up and try these things out on. So well done. You should be really proud of yourself to get into this point, and really go easy on yourself. It's going to take a while for this stuff to settle in, but if you find common shapes, it will soon start to slot together.